This is Andrew Does Hair, and for the next 5.5 minutes, I'm going to tell you everything I know about styling your hair. I'm going to start with bedhead, because chances are you will too. Now what's happening here is your pillow has set your hair into a shape that is undesirable. This happens by your hair drying into this shape, or by heat or prolonged manipulation. In this case, by your pillow. And what you'll see here is that because the hair has been set into this shape, no amount of brushing or combing will undo what it wants to do. Even if you glue it right with a product, underneath that product it's going to be fighting to bounce back to this shape. And the stronger a product holds, the less natural it looks. So the more hold we seek, the less versatility we have in our hairstyle. But by using water, we can actually undo what the hair was doing when it was set. And our clean, wet hair will also give us some very important guidelines to use in hairstyling. This is not a law, but as a general rule, your wet hair will show you what it will and will not easily want to do. And this is true for straight hair, wavy hair, curly hair, you name it. And we're going to use these guidelines to find out what we can do for Wednesday morning hair. When we comb our clean, wet hair, we'll find that there are certain directions it does not easily want to lay, especially on straight hair and around cowlicks. I strongly recommend that you do not choose a hairstyle that asks your hair to lay in a way that it doesn't want to. Even if your heavy pomade can slick this down, chances are it's going to stick up again in an hour or two or halfway through the day. But if you take your clean, wet hair and you manipulate it and play with it and shake it, you'll start to see which way it wants to lay easily and naturally. Choose a hairstyle that follows these natural characteristics and you can have easy hair that you can style with product alone. Something else you should know before you get bummed that I just told you can't slick your hair back is that same hair that would not want to lay back a minute ago is seen here a few inches longer on his twin brother, and now it easily lays back with water alone. The longer your straight hair is, the easier it bends back. Unfortunately, some hair is so coarse and so straight that it can never do certain kinds of hairstyles. Try everything in this video before you go thinking you fall into that category. Now regarding curly hair, if you can comb out your curls with water alone, then that's a great sign that you can comb them out with a heavy pomade alone. And granted, pomade is much heavier than water, but if water can't keep the curl out for a minute, then the pomade probably can't keep it out all day long. If your hair is so curly and tight that no amount of product or water will hold the curl out, then we're actually going to have to change what your hair wants to do before we put product in it. Friday night hair takes a little bit longer than Wednesday morning hair, but it makes you look like a total celebrity around everybody else who has Wednesday morning hair. Remember that bedhead from the beginning of the video? Hair that only wanted to do one thing, no matter how we brushed it or combed it. We're going to use the same principles to make the hair do the one thing that we want it to do. Fine hair that lays flat can be blow dried up in small sections until it wants to stand on its own, so that when a lightweight styling product is applied, it'll have plenty of volume, but it won't have any hold, so it'll have movement without flakes. If your hair wants to lay forward and flat, blow dry it up for a minute. The result will stand on its own and hold the shape you blew it into, even without product, so you don't need to glue your hair up with product, just piece it apart. If your hair lays back easily but you don't want a slick or heavy look, blow dry the parts down that you want to lay down. Blow dry the parts up that you want to stand up. Apply your lightweight product, just enough to remove the fluff. Leave the finger marks in there or comb it out. The product doesn't get hard because it doesn't have any hold, so you can go back and forth all day. If you have very curly hair and you'd prefer straight hair, but you want a more natural finish, pull it straight with the brush while blow drying it in the direction you'd like it to go. Use a flat iron with a comb over your completely dry hair. The result will stand on its own and look like it was never curly in the first place. So by the time you reach for your jar, so much has happened to your hair and none of it had to do with product. You're starting to catch on that good hair doesn't come from a jar. Even if your hair is longer and curly, pull it straight with a brush while blow drying it. Pull it up if you want to add volume, then define and smooth the shape with a flat iron and a comb. And now you've completely changed what your hair wants to do. It used to just curl up, and now it's laying smooth and back, and we haven't even touched product. So by the time you reach for your jar, your hair already knows what it wants to do. You don't have to force it. But from here you can run a comb through the hair if you want a neater appearance. I don't know if you thought I was joking when I've said in the past that good hair will not come out of a jar. I will admit though that fast hair and easy hair do often come out of jars, and in ways that is good hair. But if you want to start seeing massive changes in your hair and you want to gain absolute control, you can add volume to fine hair. You can straighten curly hair for neat results, with plenty of movement without looking heavy. You can straighten curly hair for messy results, with plenty of movement without looking heavy. You can undo your bedhead and make it look like celebrity bedhead, and now you know that it barely has anything to do with what's in that jar, because good hair doesn't come from a jar.